From the big wedding in Season 1 that won all our hearts, to Claire's love literally bringing Jamie back from the brink of death in Season 5, here are the most romantic moments in Outlander. Fans of the show know that it's so much more than a fantasy series. It's full of romantic moments that have kept us hooked from the very first season. I can't help but start off with my favorite scene from the entire show, this super romantic moment in Episode 7, Season 1. Claire and Jamie's wedding. Of course, when you think of a wedding, the first thing that comes to your mind is romance. And trust me, this one was pretty romantic. Even though our favorite couple was forced into it, fans loved seeing the intimacy between the two grow into something beautiful. The cutest thing about the episode was when the couple talked about their past. Claire was moved by Jamie's thoughts on their time together because it proved how deeply he loved her. Throughout the episode, it was pretty interesting to see her fight with her guilt over her feelings for Jamie, but she gave in to them, and it was glorious. Although it wasn't as saucy as seeing them consummate their marriage. Jamie had been waiting his entire life for the one and had been saving himself. Adorable, right? The rest of the scene was so steamy. From the moment they took off their clothes to the glorious end, everything was perfect. It was sweet and sensual, and one of the best wedding episodes in TV history. While the sex was pretty awesome, it doesn't beat the range of emotions that Claire felt in this next episode. I'm talking about the 11th episode of the first season, titled The Devil's Mark. This episode was pretty sad, what with the witch trial and Claire being accused of some horrible things. But there was a little bit of romance at the end. Claire and Gillis spent a few nights in the thieves' hole together after they're accused of being witches. Our two brave Highlander men, Jamie and Dougal, helped get them out of the situation. The big burly Highlander won all of our hearts after he bravely saved his lady love from being flogged. And that's when she decided to trust him with her biggest secret, that she was from the future. Claire wanted to go back to the Stones, and he loved her so much that he wouldn't stop her. He just wanted to make her happy. His selflessness moved the nurse so much that she ultimately decided to stay with him. That scene made me ugly cry. The next episode in the season was just as beautiful, the 12th episode titled Lallybrook. The episode was a big deal, since it was one of the most shocking episodes of the season. It was literally the first time Frank didn't try to get in the way of Claire and Jamie's relationship. She'd already chosen to stay with Jamie in the previous episode, and the happy couple wanted to go to his birthplace to celebrate. The episode was mostly about how hard it was for them. Well, for her specifically, to adjust to living with Jamie's grumpy sister. But the moment the fans fell in love with the time-traveling beauty all over again was when she helped her new husband through the trauma of his flogging. I mean, you guys remember his scarred back, right? When you think about the fact that Claire was standing behind Jamie for the first time after seeing the deep, whipping scars, you can see how much closer the sexiest couple in Outlander got. He later told her why he trusted her enough to show her the scars, and of course, it was because he was so in love with her. And this was the first time he actually told her. The cutest thing was that she didn't make him feel bad about what had happened to him. She wasn't repulsed by it, rather she embraced him, and the rest is history. With a heart full of love, we can move on to the second season now, when Claire found out that she was pregnant. Season 1 was very hard on the lovers, so it's not surprising that they needed to go to Paris in Season 2 to get over it. They were still trying to stop the Battle of Culloden. But now they had to deal with the fallout from the shocking end of the last season, when Blackjack Randall had horribly abused Jamie. When the newly married couple finally got to safety in Paris, he wasn't in the mood to be romantic with her at all. But we can't really blame him, he'd been through so much. One night, the two had a super huge fight, after which Claire found the teeth marks of another woman on Jamie's thigh, so she sent him to sleep in another room. But later that night, when the moon was bright and cast a deep blue glow over the room, she decided to go to him, and things got hot and heavy. This was their first big fight as a married couple, and the way they made up moved all of us to tears. It showed that when you love someone, you embrace them despite all of their faults. It helped them get back together, but it also set the stage for the rest of the season's problems, and trust me, there were a lot. Things got worse for the couple as the season progressed, and fans couldn't wait for them to be reunited, which they did, in Season 3. In the episode A. Malcolm, Our favorite heroine finally found out that the love of her life had survived the Battle of Culloden, 20 years after they were separated. With the help of Roger and Brianna, she found him in Edinburgh. They finally got to see each other in Jamie's workplace, and the entire scene was pure magic. Of course, Jamie was super surprised to see his wife. He embraced her with open arms and tears in his eyes. She finally got to tell him about their baby, and the Highlander told his wife about everything that he went through. The entire episode was about them reconnecting and relearning how much love they still had for each other. It was adorable. There was another episode in the season that moved fans to tears. It was the 9th episode called The Doldrums, when our favorite couple heard that pirates had taken young Ian. While they were on their way to see Gillis, they set sail for Jamaica. In this episode, they weren't the only hot couple on the ship. Fergus asked Marcelly to come along on the trip so he could ask Jamie what he thought about them getting married in Jamaica. With everything else going on, Claire tried to figure out how she felt about coming back to her lover. Their relationship was better than ever, and any worries that she had had about returning quickly went away, since he literally knocked them right out of her head. Get it? Many other moments in the 3rd season were super cute, but nothing can top the first episode of the 4th season, called America the Beautiful. The star-crossed lovers went sightseeing when they first got to the United States, and she told him everything she learned about the country during her stay in the future. After the shipwreck that ended season 3, they spent the night under the stars and talked about how lucky they are to still be alive and together. The chemistry between Katrina Balfe and Sam Heughan has been insane, but this scene really shone through. It happened to be their 24th wedding anniversary too, and he gave Claire a box that she could use to store all of her medicines and plants. It doesn't sound like much, but it made her feel valued and loved, which is what it's all about, right? We can't seem to get enough of the lovers, can we? But they weren't the only couple that had us in tears. I mean, there wasn't a single dry eye when Brianna got married. In the first episode of the season, The Fiery Cross, there was another big wedding. When Brianna married Roger, the other 2 married couples, Fergus and Marcelly and Jamie and Claire, couldn't help but be moved by the young lovers. Marcelly told Fergus that she was pregnant, making the episode even more special. Then, when Brianna decided to spend the night with Jamie, Claire, Murtaugh, and Jocasta, Roger serenaded her, which stole my heart, just like the 9th episode of the season did. In the episode called Monsters and Heroes, Claire literally saved Jamie's life. This has got to be one of the most romantic scenes in the entire show. It was super lovely to see the spark in their relationship, and it was still as fiery as it was in the early days. Jamie got bit by a poisonous snake while he was out hunting. Since his wife didn't know much about dangerous bites, as she only dealt with soldiers with gunshot wounds, Claire made the logical decision to cut his leg off to save his life. The Highlander wasn't ready to give up on his legs though, and decided to just lay in bed and die. He asked Claire to stay the night with him out of the blue, and the 2 of them got through it. When they fell asleep while holding hands, he decided to take her advice and sacrificed his leg, since he couldn't imagine not being with her, and a leg wasn't a big price to pay for that. Adorable, right? So from Claire's love literally bringing Jamie back from the brink of death in season 5, to the big wedding in season 1 that won all our hearts, here were the most romantic moments in Outlander.